raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Winn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
I'm Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, former Lieutenant Governor candidate, Progressive Independent Democrat, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, fully transitioned transgender woman. I support women's rights and veterans and unions and other progressive ideas. Please donate to my campaign on Spot Fund and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Stay progressive, everybody.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits, the fastest growing radio show in the Valley. And now we've expanded our reach to include live stream ads on social media with over 20,000 daily views. So are you ready to take your business to the next level? Then get in on the action. Our team will put together the right ad package for you that meets your business needs. So what are you waiting for? Send us an email, sales@ptlradioshow.com. That's sales@ptlradioshow.com. and reach your target audience while maximizing the advertising impact of your business. That email again, sales@ptlradioshow.com. That's sales@ptlradioshow.com. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Chris Winn joining me in studio. God, I just don't get a chance to talk enough sports on this show because there's so much going on in the world politically. We're going to get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl week has officially begun. The 49ers and the Chiefs arrived in town last night. We'll get to that. Maybe even a little UNLV basketball, a little NHL hockey, Vegas Golden Knights. Live Golf is in town. Before I talk about this Snell story, I do want to pick your brain on that real quick because we're supposed to be getting Greg Norman on the show this week.
Really?
And he's the commissioner, of course. Greg Norman's been anti-PGA Tour for a long time. I'm going to say this about Live, and I've been very consistent on my opinions. I don't blame any of the players for going over there. With that, I also say I have no respect for really the tour as far as this team stuff, and there's no cut. It's hard to respect that. At the same time, for the fans, it's a lot more enjoyable to watch. You got music playing while these guys are hitting shots. It's a party atmosphere. And I will also praise Live Golf because they have been nothing but nice to me, and they have been great. The PGA Tour, many of the people that run the PGA Tour are nothing but a bunch of douchebags. They're douchebags. Now, if you want to talk about Saudi money and blood money, the LPGA Tour would not have survived without Saudi money and advertising. That goes for a lot of sports and a lot of business entities in this country. So if you have a problem with Live Golf being played in this country, then you got to have a problem with Saudi money, which is anywhere in this country. So that's my feeling on it. I'm looking forward to watching the Live Golf tournament this week. And you want to talk about a star-studded field. Forget about even Phil Mickelson, who's going to be here. You want to talk about some of the best players in the world.
Right.
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. Brooks Koepka. Bryson DeChambeau, and a bunch of guys. John Rahm just signed. He's got a team here. These are a bunch of guys that have won majors in the last couple of years and some of the best players in the world. It's a better field for Live Golf than the Shriners Tournament has ever had. Ever!
Yeah. Look, I'll make a couple comments on this. I don't know if you want to spend a lot of time on it. Look, it's interesting to have Live Golf have a golf tournament here in town during Super Bowl week, right, where you have that kind of thing going on. With respect to Live, my personal opinion, it kind of mirrors yours a little bit more. I'm a little bit more staunch on the I have an issue with just the Saudi government, period, right? I kind of subscribe to the multiple things can be true situation here. I don't disparage people to go out and make a living, right? I'm someone who wants to people to be able to make the most out of their opportunities with respect to their athletic career, their professional career, their business career, whatever, right? But at the same time, I'm also someone who is very vocal on the other show we used to do when it came to the Jamal Khashoggi murder that took place, and you just used the phrase blood money, which is exactly what it is. It's essentially the Saudi government trying to cleanse their image with respect to why they got into this business in the first place and created Live Golf at all. So I have an issue with that from that standpoint, but I also understand the reality of the global situation in that, and you just kind of pointed it out. Saudi money is kind of it's filtered throughout many aspects, not just of American society, but of global society. So I kind of get that as well too. So I subscribe to the multiple things can be true thing, but I'm still not exactly fired up about how this whole concept even came about and why it even exists in the first place.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. I'm looking forward to the Live Golf events this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it. All right, switching topics. Good college basketball player coming out of New Mexico.
We actually covered him.
Watched him play college basketball. Tony Snell. Average NBA player. He had a couple good years, but hasn't done much the last several years. 9 years in the NBA. He has two kids that
have autism issues. Yes.
So what he needed was just a 10-day contract, so he can make the 10 years that you need in the NBA to get really lifelong medical benefits that are worth a lot of money. So he's been making the rounds, talking to people, and it's been in the media. This guy's got to get this contract. You got to sign him. He needs to take care of his kids. I disagree. First of all, here's a man that has made over $50 million as a average to below average professional basketball player. $53 million. Let's be generous. When you take away taxes, agents, and all that stuff, I'll be generous. Let's cut it in half. Let's say he's made cold-hearted cash, non-taxed, his money, $25 million. It's probably more than that. You're telling me you make $25 million and you can't afford health care for your kids? Guess what? I'm glad nobody picked him up. Let it be a lesson to him. And he'll still have enough money to take care of his kids. I'm sure his kids will be okay. This is nonsense. You don't sign somebody to a 10-day contract so that they can get medical benefits. This is a business. You sign somebody if you think they will help your basketball team. Tony Snell last year averaged 4 points a game in the G League. He's not an NBA player. He will never be an NBA player again. And if somebody signs him, it will only be so that they can make it a nice story, and you gave him this contract so he'll get medical benefits. That's not why the NBA set this all up. It's his fault that he's begging for these medical benefits, yet he was terrible with his money. He didn't save his money. That's my opinion on this whole story.
Okay, so I'm going to absolutely push back with you, and myself, along with others like Paul McKeskey, we take a different approach, Brian, than you do. Okay, so make no mistake about it, okay? He has made millions of dollars in his career, okay? But I'm deferring to Paul McKeskey on a situation like this because he talked about this with respect to, look, we don't know exactly what the medical basically costs are going to be for two kids with autism that are dealing with that situation. Okay, so yes, we acknowledge that Tony Snell made millions of dollars in his career. But here's the thing. Here's the aspect that myself and Mo and others that take that different than yours. You're taking kind of an adversarial, aggravated approach to it, as if like, oh my gosh, like this guy made millions of dollars. It's a joke that they would even consider, or that he hasn't put himself in a financial position to be able to handle this. Myself and Mo take another approach. We take the approach of he was an NBA veteran for a long time, okay? He needs just a short period of time to get the benefits. It's an empathetic and compassionate way to look at it, okay? That he has an opportunity where he was a longtime veteran and he just needs a little bit more time to get a benefit that could be hugely impactful for a positive thing for his family, okay? That's the way we look at it. And then also, there's another aspect to this, too, that hasn't been talked about, or that has been talked about very limited, and was talked about by Charles Barkley and others on the NBA on TNT the other day. Adam Silver can make an exception here. Adam Silver can have a clause where he can just basically, they can just acknowledge that Tony Snell, they can just give it to him. They can just waive the rule, and they could just put him into the retirement, health benefit program automatically. Or there's another situation that could transpire, which is obviously much less formal, where you could have somebody step in, right? Someone like a Mark Cuban, right? Someone that is obviously very has all the money in the world, right? And it would be no skin off their back to help him out, much like what happened with Delonte West, right? Where you had Mark Cuban help out Delonte West when he was essentially homeless, right? And he actually, took care of him. Took care of him is probably the right way to describe it, actually, for a short period of time. So there's a different approach than you're kind of like making it a definitive, oh my God, this, and this. And yes, we acknowledge that Tony Snell made millions of dollars, okay, in his career. But we also acknowledge that there's been thousands upon thousands of athletes that have either had money issues, they have bad investment people, right, that work for them. And so the word that Mo used that I agree with that counters what you're saying is I don't think we need to be judgmental. So judgmental about this when it comes to Tony Snell. I think there can be extenuating circumstances that take place, and there are other ways to look at it other than, oh my God, you made $25 million at least in your career. How come you can't take care of your family
so let me
from a financial
you
standpoint?
said a lot of things. Let me respond.
I did, yeah.
Let me start
Yeah.
by saying this. If the commissioner of the NBA wants to get involved and make an exception, I don't have a problem with that. Here's where I do have a problem. I have a problem with an NBA team signing a player just for this reason. That I have a problem with. And guess what? No NBA team signed him. I was happy to hear that. If the commissioner wants to get involved and say, hey, listen, this is an exception, let's help him out, fine, go ahead and do that.
Why would you have a problem, though, with an NBA team doing that? Because
I'll tell you why.
It's a sign. No, let me tell you why it's good to do it.
Well, you asked
It's a
me.
sign of goodwill. It's a sign of goodwill. It's a sign that you're looking to. It's more than about basketball. I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, from a managerial standpoint, you should never sign an NBA basketball player for goodwill. You should sign an NBA basketball player because you think they will help the team in some way win basketball games.
Well, in a perfect world, yes.
Okay, so
but there's
all right.
This is a unique situation, though.
So that's my
You're just disregarding the situation.
And if it's a unique situation, then
is.
Let the commissioner get involved and make a unique decision. I have no problem with that. Owner of a team should not be signing somebody so that they can get medical benefits to make it a nice, unique story. All right, let's move on now. Super Bowl in Vegas this weekend. I cannot believe I am saying that. It's crazy. I'm going to give you my pick right now, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Revenge is a huge factor in professional sports.
Is it, though, really?
Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and what this team has been able to accomplish with their coaching staff is legendary, and Pat Mahomes is going to go down, and Kelce, one of the best to ever play the position.
Absolutely.
That's already obvious no matter what happens in this game. Kansas City, I don't think they're as good of a team as they've been in the last several years. They're still very good, and they're playing very well right now. I personally believe, and I could very well be wrong, because I think this is a very difficult game to handicap, and I think it'll be a very close, good football game. But I believe that in the back of some of these players' heads, and some of these players were on this team 4 years ago, not a lot, but there are some, that this is a revenge game. They remember what happened 4 years ago. And somehow, I believe that the 49ers are going to find a way to win this football game, and then maybe the Travis Kelce situation with his girlfriend can go away for a little while, because I'm really sick and tired of hearing about it. It should have no factor on this game and these conspiracy theories, and I know you talked about this last week.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the 49ers are certainly good enough to win. They're favored by 2 points. And I believe they will win, because I think, in my personal opinion, they're a little bit better on a neutral field. A little bit better. And I do believe the factor of what took place 4 years ago, and coaches talked about it, will play a role in this football game. So I do believe the 49ers win. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, so a couple things on that. So obviously the Niners were a very different team in 2000, 4 years ago in the Super Bowl than they are, especially when you're talking about the quarterback position. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was a quarterback. Now Brock Purdy is a quarterback. That's a big deal, okay? When your signal caller is a different guy than in the other game, that matters. Now, look, Vegas agrees with you, right? Vegas thinks that the 49ers are a slightly better football team. Now, look, any spread under 3 points in the NFL, you got a lot of negotiation going on there as far as each team. I'm not going to say it's a complete toss up, but it's not like it's a 6.5 point spread, right?
No, I think it'll be a competitive game.
And if it's a 2 point spread, there's a lot of ammunition there for people, and there's going to be people that, by the way, I think the line goes down. I think that it's going to end up being around 1 by the time this game kicks off.
Maybe.
Because I think people that are going to be going to the window betting Kansas City in this game. But is revenge or motivation because you lost a Super Bowl to the same team a few years back matter? Yeah, I think it does matter a little bit. I also think, you know what I think matters more, though? I think what matters more is what recently has happened, okay? And what has recently happened? San Francisco has got in by the skin of their teeth. They essentially, barely won the game that they could have lost against Green Bay, 2 weeks ago. And then last week we saw what happened with the Lions game where Detroit's up 17
So you're
points,
taking the Chiefs.
And they choked.
You're taking the Chiefs.
I mean, I'm kind of building this up. I'm building up to it.
You're taking
Chap,
the Chiefs.
I'm
I love
building
my
up to it.
pick. I
so
love
here's
my
the deal,
pick.
man. So here's the deal,
I love
okay?
it.
So, but I'm still talking about the San Francisco. I haven't talked about Kansas City yet. So the Niners
We only have 5
skated
minutes.
by. I understand it. So the Niners skated by, okay, the last 2 games, all right? Do I think they're a little bit better football team than Kansas City? Probably, all right? But I think on any given Sunday, which is the moniker we all use when it comes to college football in the NFL, all right, that matters. And Kansas City had to face much more adversity when it came to the playoffs. When you have to come at home, play against a Miami team that was explosive, obviously in extreme weather conditions. They go to Buffalo, win that game. Then they go to Baltimore, win that game, which they were clear dogs in that game. And they're kind of riding a high right now, Kansas City. So I'm not going to sit here and pick Brock Purdy and CMC and these guys against Pat Mahomes, who you just said correctly is going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time, already is probably the best quarterback in the league right now, against Travis Kelce and against this Kansas City defense that's underrated. So, yes, Chris Wynn's pick, Brian Shapiro, is going to be the Chiefs on the money line.
Not the Eagles.
And I was going to say the Eagles.
Okay.
The Chiefs on the money line, and I am fully confident
Well, I can tell you
that that's
this.
probably something that could transpire on Super Bowl
as
Sunday.
I've used this term before, and I'll use it again today, with all due respect,
Yeah.
the fact that you are picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl makes me feel so much better about my pick. You have absolutely no idea.
But the problem is, see, you go by this premise that I lose every bet, and see, you're just wrong on that, my
Not
friend.
every bet, most bets.
You're very misguided, my friend. Okay,
Fine.
when it comes to my sports betting
side-
prowess. So you're going by
Okay.
just the
Hold
basic
on.
baseline.
All right. Come on.
I'm countering
All right.
your
Just let me get in a word
your
edgewise
absurd
here.
take that you just had right
First
there.
of all,
okay?
a side note.
Now, the fact that you're taking Kansas City gives me so much confidence.
It does.
Calm down, kid.
It
Calm
does.
down.
It does.
All right.
Side note.
I don't
hold on.
lose every
All right.
sports bet.
Okay. Side note. Don't have to get so defensive. Side note.
I'm not defensive. I'm
The
just being
49ers,
factual. Yeah.
reportedly the 49ers, somebody else complaining about the UNLV.
Yeah.
The 49ers are complaining that they don't like their practice facility today. this
What are
morning.
they talking about? It's one of the best practice facilities in college football
Well,
across the country.
That's what they're saying. They're claiming they don't like it. They have issues with the practice facility. So I don't know.
Really? I don't know. It's weird.
What a brutal. By the way, what a brutal situation if you're going to practice outside, because you want to practice indoors, of course, because you're playing in a dome. But you're apparently this is 100% an issue, and there are some people on social media that are saying they knew this would happen. That KC got the Raiders facility, which is beautiful, and the Niners.
And
got
it's indoor. By the way, the Raiders facility, right, they have indoor access to a field, right, which they don't have
want a
at
harder
UNLV.
field.
So that's
Right.
That's not really cool with me.
They want
I
a
don't
harder
really
field.
That's not really good for the I mean, the Niners are getting screwed, I think.
The issue is, it's not, my understanding, it's not necessarily a facility as much as they wanted a harder field. Based on the fact they're playing a hard field, of course, in the dome. So that's the issue that they have, but that's something that should have been talked about before they got here. That's on them. They should have made sure that they had a hard field before they got here.
Well, no, that's the NFL needs to find a way. They should have a temporary indoor facility put over at the UNLV
I agree.
practice facility.
They should have done
I mean,
that.
the NFL has the power to do that. They could do it in 2 weeks. They could do that.
I completely agree with
So,
you. Before we
yeah.
go, UNLV basketball is only one game out of first place. Now, I know everyone's jammed up in there, and I've been saying all year that I don't think UNLV is going to be top 4. They beat teams that they're supposed to beat, right? They beat Fresno State. And, of course, the Air Force game was a disaster. But, listen, they took care of business against Wyoming. Season's not going to get any easier as they go on the road. But I would like to hear Roger Goodell speak a little bit about this field issue. We know that everybody, and I mean everybody, is in town for the Super Bowl this week. Every NFL legend that is still alive is going to be here. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, We'll be speaking from the Raiders locker room at Allegiant Stadium today, so that should be interesting. We'll hear what he has to say. This is someone who's been anti-Vegas for so long. He is a hypocrite. I'm not a big Roger Goodell fan. You're a Roger Goodell fan if you own a football team because they're having record profits. As far as the airports are concerned, it's almost impossible now to park a private jet over at Harry Reid Airport. You might have to park it in Henderson. I've heard that it's anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000 to park your jet here for the week. It is absurd. If you really want to meet celebrities,
supply and demand, my friend. It's Vegas on Super Bowl week.
If you
by the way, I mean it's the first Super Bowl ever, Brian. Right? So I mean,
sure.
come on, you're gonna have these types of situations presenting themselves.
Yeah, no question.
So,
So there's a lot of interesting things happening in Vegas this week. I'll be attending some events. A programming note: I do plan on taking Thursday and Friday off this week. There's just too many events that I don't want to miss that are be happening during the day. Not just Super Bowl events, but also the Live Golf event, which I'm looking forward to going to. I'm a big golf fan, so we don't get to watch a lot of live golf here in Vegas very often. And this is Live Golf, so this will be a lot of fun. All right, the residential lefty of the Pushing the Limits radio show, Chris Winn, joining us in studio today. He's given his pick. I've given mine. You guys all could make your own decisions on the Super Bowl. I haven't even looked at any of the prop bets and all that yet. Before we go, we got 1 minute. Are there any props that you like?
Definitely like Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. I assume it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2-1, in that neighborhood, 2-1, maybe 2.5 to 1 if it gets up. I mean, but I'm going to take Travis Kelce to score a touchdown because I did hit on that during championship weekend as well too on him to score the first touchdown in the AFC Championship game. So there's a couple other things I'll look at, but it's still Brian. It's still too early.
I'm going to take one.
We're still 6 days away.
The only one I like is it's 5,000 to 1. The odds that Taylor Swift has a wardrobe malfunction while celebrating a touchdown, a Kansas City Chiefs touchdown. 5,000 to 1 could be a nip slip or something. I don't know. I think it's worth putting a couple bucks down. That's all.
I love this Taylor Swift stuff, man. By the way, quick note. I know we're up against the time break, but hey, against the end of the show, I think it just adds to the NFL. I think it's something that it's beneficial. You know, I don't believe in all the other garbage when it comes to politics stuff.
Yeah.
But I think just from the standpoint of having a major pop star like this, a major pop icon,
it's a good
interested, I think it does add to the cachet that is the Super Bowl. And hey, it's in Vegas, so that even adds to it even more.
I certainly don't think it's a bad thing, and I have no problems with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce personally, and they can do whatever the heck they want to do and enjoy life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. We're going to enjoy life now. We're going to go grab some lunch. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Tomorrow is an important political day for the state of Nevada. Just ask Michael Ronald McDonald. We'll be covering that in the primaries tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day.